This is Chase here with Centerpiece Arcades. Want to make a quick tutorial video for Cletus and anybody else that gets a Monster Arcade and is getting it shipped out of state, or maybe you're in state and you just forgot how to use everything. So let's show you how we do this thing. First, step one, you got a button here on the back of your cabinet, and this is the power button. As you can see, the fan lights come on, everything else comes on. If you have LED buttons, all your LED buttons at this point should light up. Real quick to kind of navigate through this crazy control panel. So you have your trackball. These three buttons in the middle represent your mouse buttons. So you got right click, middle click, and left click. This joystick here is the same as player one joystick. It's just a four-way joystick. It's made for, you know, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, stuff like that. If you'd rather play it on that joystick, they both work the same in my opinion. So we have a simple layout here. Player one, player two, like a normal cabinet, and then you have player four over here and player three over here. And the lit up buttons with stickers on them represent the corresponding joystick. So for example, you have three min here as a three-player start and a three-player coin. Player one start, player one coin. You have exit, which acts as escape. You have start, which is not actually start, it's actually enter. You have pause, tab, player two coin, player four, and player four coin. Now you will have to turn on your TV with your remote control, which I have located right here. And real quick before I start getting into all the navigation buttons, if it come around here. So this is your wireless card. I've got Velcro down here. If we look on the bottom of the cabinet, you can see your USB port where you can hook up your light guns. I've got a wireless USB toggle for your wireless mouse and keyboard. Now in here, when you get your control panel, if you have to take this thing off the door, your game so you can fit it through the doorway, it's pretty simple. You have two bolts, two big lag bolts that are going to be removed right here, and then a few things that are going to have to be unhooked, which are all very simple. So you have a few USB ports, and I've labeled all of them. So when they're down in your cabinet, you'll know which one they are. You have a spinner, one for your iPack, you have one for the USB controller, one for your trackball. Now these power cords for your LEDs are all labeled as well. So for example, you have number 3 and number 3, number 1, number 2, and number 2. So it's pretty self-explanatory. In here you also have your spinner dial, so you can remove your steering wheel and add your spinner. It's very easy to do. You just do it like this, just pops off. I made it a little bit tight so you don't have to use an Allen wrench. But if you want to tighten it up and leave one on permanently, you can put your Allen wrench in there. I've got your wireless keyboard and mouse up here, but for now, but normally it would go in your control panel. So you've also got a volume control on the side, and everybody's cabinets, I set them up the same way. Okay, so you got a great sound system in here. We're going to turn that down for the sake of this video. Now, once you're in your game, your system is running Windows 7. It will boot up directly into hyperspin. You're going to navigate with your player one joystick. So you can go up, you can go down. Don't get overwhelmed. It's going to take you a few days to get acclimated to as many wheels as there are. There's like 300 wheels in a 16 terabyte drive, 100 and something wheels in a 5 terabyte drive, which is pretty crazy. So a lot of them have a banner, which is also like a label. So you have your arcade label, and it'll go all the way till you see another banner that'll say console or pinball or stuff like that. For the sake of the video, I'm going to stick with arcade stuff. The main controls you're going to use is player one start, player one coin, exit. These are the three main you're going to use. When I want to get into a wheel, I'm going to press player one start. When I want to get out of a wheel, player one coin. Okay? Pretty simple. So in a wheel, player one start, out of a wheel, player one coin. Now once I'm in a wheel, there's tons and tons of games in each wheel. On player one, your buttons are always going to be numbered, pretty simple. Button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, button 5, and button 6. Button number 5 is your favorites button. So from here you can add a game. Player 1 start, again, is going to be your command button. So I just added that game to favorites. I just removed it. When I want to go into my favorites, again, player 1 start is how I get in there. And there might not be favorites for this tab. So let's go to So now there's all the favorites. We've kind of set a lot of the popular games in here. So this way, once you've been playing your game for a few months, you should have all your stuff set in favorites. You don't have to shuffle through a whole bunch of different things. Okay? Now, when you're in a game, we're going to go ahead and start a game. Player 1 start is how you start a game. Your first initial game, for some crazy reason, it's just how the system is. It always takes a hot second to load. So no reason to press the button a whole bunch of times. It will load quicker on the second time and every time after that. But it takes a second to load everything on the first load. So see, I didn't touch anything and the game started up. So once you're in the game, you can coin it and then you can start your game. And everything is already set for the most part. Now if you get into a game and for whatever reason, only in your arcade games. Every other emulator uses something different. I'll make a whole nother video for stuff like that. But I just want to stick with the arcades and the basics because that is the majority of the games. You're going to press this little tool button here and it will bring you up into this. Again, I'm going to make a whole nother video on this, but I just want to go over the basics on what this is. Input General is all the button settings for all of MAME, which is all the arcade stuff. Input This is just for this game. So player 1 start is, for this, enter is going to be your command, which is why I have this. So this is all the controls for player 1 spread out over all of MAME. So if you change something here, it will change in all of MAME. Okay? Now, input this is just for this game. That's why you see a much smaller menu. So for example, if I want to make a change, so let's say I want to make a change to player 1 start. I'm just going to hit the start button, which is actually, again, enter on your keyboard. I hit enter, it opens that up. The next button I touch will become that button. So player 1 start, and then it'll automatically change it. Okay, so that's how we change that. You know what, there's something I actually need to do real quick. So while I'm in here, I'll show you. I forgot to change the settings. I forgot to make, these are mouse buttons, but I forgot to make them the same as button 1, button 2, and button 3. So we'll do that real quick and I'll show you how to do it. So you press enter. Alright. Wait, pause it real quick. Okay, so and that ended up doing something quirky. Again, it's still a computer. Every now and then it will do something like that. If you have any problems with that, you're going to contact Chris. Everybody that buys a drive will have his information. He's the one who programs all these drives, and so he is fantastic with the computer. So again, that's how you change your settings, just by pressing enter, or on this it says start. It opens that up. The next button you touch becomes that button. So if you want to change your block on here from Mortal Kombat to here or something like that, again, that would happen here inside your input this. There are also some cheats and video options and things like that. You can YouTube MAME settings, and there's millions of YouTube videos and all that good stuff. Okay, so now when you press exit, that will exit out of your game. What I do want to show you is a few other things real fast. I want to show you your pinball settings. As you can see, there are lots and lots and lots of stuff on here. Your spinner's already set up for your steering wheel games and games like Arkanoid. This is one of my favorites, Pinball Fx2. Now what I've done here is I tried to mimic the controls as far as distance, about as close as I could to what you would do on a pinball. So hold down your plunger. Hold down your joystick is going to be the plunger for the ball, and then your player 1 button 1 and player 2 button 3 is your flippers, and then player 1 button 2 and player 2 button 2 are your nudge. So watch. Okay, and I've set this on all 3 pinballs. You have Pinball Fx2, you have Arcade Pinball, which is my least favorite. My 2 favorite are Pinball Fx2 and Visual Pinball. They both play great. This is more your newer age techie stuff, and Visual Pinball is your all your older stuff. Okay, other than that, you have a bunch of console wheels in here. Don't get freaked out because there's so many wheels. This is kind of crazy. So the Mario collection, again, player 1, button 1 to get in. It's pretty much all the Marios ever made in one convenient location, so you don't have to go to Wii and Sega and Super Nintendo and so on and so forth. Now, if you run into some games that don't play, just jot them down. And again, you don't want to text Chris one at a time. He's way too busy to do one game at a time. But if you hit him with a handful of games that aren't working that you like, then that's how you would handle that situation, by texting him, getting a hold of him. Okay, so we've navigated through all the controls on the top. We've navigated through here, how to turn your game on, how to get in a system, how to get out of a system. Again, settings on different systems will be a whole nother video. I want to stick to the basics on this. So let's talk about how do we turn the game off. When we turn the game off, we're going to press, again, same way I'm backing out of a wheel is how I back out of the system. Player 1, coin. I'm going to hit yes. Now I'm out of the system. You can see my trackball is also acting as my keyboard and mouse. There's my right click. Alright, so I'm going to exit the normal way. I'm going to exit right here. But real quick, to show you just a few things that I would show you if you were here. I've added some things to your shortcut window. This is for your graphics card. This is Hyperlaunch HQ. So this is how you would take things off of the wheel that you might not like. Everything else is already set. You click on main menu wheel wizard, and then you're going to hit minus, and then you can go and remove wheels one at a time. So if there's Chinese stuff that you don't like, this is how you would do it. If you clicked on something, I would do remove from database, not remove from install. That way you can restore it later if you'd like. Rocket launcher, I wouldn't really mess with rocket launcher too much. That you can manually load hyperspin here by double clicking it. Now when you click on the folder, you're going to find your arcade drive right here under computer. Okay, so this is where all your arcade stuff's at. I'll make another video on all the cool stuff that Chris has added to here. There are different front-end softwares like GameX and Maximus and Launchbox. Most of these are already set up and actually work for you, even though we're using hyperspin. Click on arcade. You're going to click on tools, and then there's some stuff in here that you might use. If you want to do remote support, for you, Cletus, I've already set yours up. It's AnyDesk right here. You're going to click on the remote support button or folder, and then launch this, and then you're going to have to download it. The starter program is what's allowing your game to boot up into hyperspin automatically. The Ultimark iPack software is what you're using for your button controls. Free file sync. This is the only thing I really want to show you. If you ever want to clone your drive, I do recommend that for everybody. We clone important things on our computers. Why not something that took 7 months to set up for Chris, setting up this hard drive? So you're just going to locate the folder you want to start cloning, which we're going to make that our D drive. Hit select folder, and then you're going to go over here. And if you had an empty drive, it would be located right here. I would just click that, hit select folder, and then I'm going to hit sync. It's going to take about 10 minutes, and you're going to see it looking in all of the D drive, which is millions and millions and millions of folders. It's going to find all those, and then you're just going to hit the start button, and it will start cloning. It will take about 24 hours for a 5 terabyte drive. Anything bigger will take longer. All right, so that's really the basics on your controls. I can't think of anything else that you might use. Again, any other problems with settings or anything like that, Chris is your guy. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to go ahead and shut it down. So I'm just going to go over here to the Windows, and I'm going to shut down like normal. If you ever have any problems with anything, another cool trick is pressing Alt and Tab on your control panel, and you can see this. Every now and again something sticks or something freezes. You can always go back here and then go down to your Windows and restart the game or what have you. Then the other thing you might occasionally I need to do is go into Control Alt Delete, go over here to my task manager, and turn off something by end task. So if you have something that's not running, Street Fighter V, some of these more advanced games, just go here, remove it, and then you can go back to your control and tab, and your screen will pop up, and you'll see hyperspin running in the background. You can go back to it that way. Okay, everybody, I sure do appreciate it. Any problems or questions, as always, I'm always available. If not, shoot me a text. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.